Hello, hello, hello. Happy morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good morning, Sterling, as always with the news. Thank you for putting this in. Oh, Sterling, is it your day off or do you have to work because of the end of the year? Hey, Patrick. Hey, Christoph. Fitch not forecasting a recession. All right. Let's see. Let's see if the Fitch Kramered it. Uh, Interesting. Interesting, Patrick. Hello, Eric. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, Royal Palms. Two questions. How do we screen for tax loss selling, and can we look at XHB? We can look at XHB. How do we screen? I don't. I don't know how you specifically would screen for tax loss selling. That's an interesting question. You have to work. Okay, you're at work. That's what I figured. But thank you for the confirmation. Sorry you have to work this week, but a busy week in the auto business. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Good morning, Chris. All right, hold on one second. Let's see. Let's see where we sit today. Again, it's thinner trading. We've got waning momentum. I mean, the S&P, the spiders could eke out some new high, but I'm watching for a potential drop setup. There's no real strong reversal patterns besides potential waning momentum. But the DeMark finally for the S&P futures fully qualified for anybody who studies DeMark. So that means we still need a reversal of some sort, but we're in a very potentially toppy pattern for DeMark indicators, the DeMark sequential. So I'm not going to go in more. If you don't know what that is, you can use your old Google friend. Today, Redbook, I mean, actually, uh, fairly strong. Fairly strong Redbook print this morning. We have Richmond Fed, Manufacturing and Services coming up at 9 a.m. Dallas Services coming up at 9:30, and then some bill and note auctions. So still quiet, but I'll pay attention to regional indexes. I doubt they'll really move the markets that much. So far, mega caps mixed. Costco continues to rally. Little pause in oil and chips are looking strong this morning. Consumer cyclical, basic materials, and healthcare are leading the way up, but everything is positive this morning so far. Fed Watch still has 6 rate cuts priced in, with the first in March, so no trade change there, and still in extreme greed mode. So, still watching. Remember, no earnings this week. And let's just see the little minor potential double top never triggered and is off the table now. We still have the bigger double top right here. We break out above yesterday's highs 48.42 and then 48.53. Major cluster 48.53. Key support right now. Let me flip these around. I put them on backwards because I made a mistake. Here we go. That's better. Major support coming in on any breakdown 47.89. If that was broken through the next key levels 47.77 on a closing basis. Minor support today on any pullback. If we start breaking into the 4-hour rotation zone, I'm going to be watching about 48.18, 48.17, and then 48.12 is very key for me. That's the minor levels. Then 4,800, then that 47.89 area. Other than that, that's it. There's not much to talk about. We don't need to go all nuts because this is just quieter trading. Market's grinding higher. Remember, daily's now at the bottom and trying to cycle back up. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a little more push through the end of the year or not, because the weekly's still pinned at the top. I mean, this is pretty vertical at this point. So without even a pausing week, Nasdaq basing sideways, letting the rotation zone catch up. Stalled out yesterday at this 17,113 area. Harmonic, we break through there, 17,152, then 17,174 are the next key levels higher. If we For any pullback, we need to get through about 17,067. That's my key support area. Then I'm looking at on a pullback 17,040 to 17,023. Then the next major level below that is 16,980. Then 16,935 is your major support. So that's about it. And the potential other double, which may never trigger, is all the way still in place below. Same thing with the daily cycles moving on up. The Dow still has a potential double in play, stalling out against that 87.5 harmonic. If it breaks through there, I just watch for a return to that 38,000 area. Then above 38,000 miners, 38,090, and then more significant is 38,168. Minor support going in the low into the open is 37,855. Then we have 37,780. 37,700 is getting very key support, and then 37,623 on a closing basis. If that's broken, we'd see probably lower prices. Excuse me. Russell, again, just grinding on higher, stalling out at this next little minor harmonic, this 2088. Through there, the next major level isn't till about 2108. Right now, the same thing as the NASDAQ. This is moved sideways between the two harmonics, letting the 8 catch up on the 4 hour. So if breakout, that's the key level. If we start breaking above 2088, there is no other reversal pattern in here. So the key pullback levels I'm watching is 2079. And then major support 2064. Below that is 2050. VIX gets a fair amount of selling pressure, above this 1375. It's back trading at 13. So the lower end of this, resetting the levels now since we have a few days since the option expiration. We're still looking at about a 1375 as key level right now to get into more of a bearish sell-off. Key support is still 1235. DAX, not much, still a sideways movement with the 8 pushing price up. Still no close above 16,972. That's the key thing I'm watching for the higher price action to confirm. Other than that, breakdown level 16,975. Not much else to talk about there. Notes, yields are dropping again. Trying to break out, still 113.07. Then 113.19 are the targets. If it starts breaking 112.09, we might have a short-term top in the notes and a bottom in the yields, but nothing yet. You can see here the yields dropping back down to retest the lows from last Thursday. We do have a little mini valid double potential. Would need a close above 3.92, and that I would need the daily close above that to be exact. A daily close. So if it was breaking that intraday, I needed to follow through with that daily close above that. That would just potentially take it back to that 4, the 4 area. That's really about it on the yield. If it does break through these lows, next key target is 3.78. The yields on the 2s are dropping like a rock, 4.162. We had a potential double setup, which is now invalidated. The 10-2s climbing a bit, getting into somewhat of a minor bear steepening again, but it still has to really start breaking above about minus 25 basis points before I'll really take notice of that. Dollar index broke the major key support, this 101.08 level, which was also the 75 harmonic. So the next major target is right around this 100.08, 100 to 100.08. 87.5 price magnet. So there we go. There we go. Crude pulled back earlier and bouncing back. So crude, I mean, is absorbing any selling pressure pretty easily. Not quite to my target area yesterday, came close. So we're still watching about the 76.50 area, and above that 77.75, 77.50, 77.75. Is there a bearish setup? Not really. It pulled back into a drop, sort of ruined a flagging pattern, but it's recovered rather quickly. There's still no major bearish pattern yet. Let's see what else. Gold popping again. Slight pop. But the key closing level is this 2090 still. That's what we're watching for to start putting the upwards pressure on gold again. So that's where that sits. Very quiet markets. Yen, not much to talk about unless we really pop up above this 144.80 area or we start breaking down below 141.90. The euro hitting that 75 harmonic finally. Took the triple top here and then breaking out with still the closes above the 62.5. So the next key target on this is 111.72. That's where that sits. The pound, if it breaks above this 127.90, 128.61. And let's get to spiders and the Qs. Spiders still have the bigger double top potentially in play. Looks like a pretty flat open today. So the targets, first is yesterday's high, but then 476.90, 477.90, and 478.71. The key support right now is 475.50 going into the open is pretty major support. But below that, your really key support is about 473.70. And then the 50% pullback is 472.20. The key on the closing basis is 471.11 if we have any bigger drop. Other than that, there is nothing. The Qs, slight gap up, so any rollover into the open 410.89. The next key level higher, 412.36 into the open. And then there isn't much. There isn't really much. Let's just see some. Let's get the minor harmonic. Then we're going to 413.93, then 417.41. What else do we have here? Besides the gap fill in the open, your major support sitting at 410. 410 is a key, very key pullback level. And then we'd be looking at the next major support is until 408.71. All right. Tesla getting urged by a couple senators to do a recall for suspension. Still no daily close above the 62.5. No daily close above the 62.5. The minor breakdown level is 247. So unless that's broken, still nothing to talk about. If we do get the close above 257, 269.96 is the next major target. What else do we have? XHB. What did you want to know about XHB? Wow, can't type. Let me just check something. No reversal there. Trying to break out. I mean, your key support is still 93, so that would be any trailing level I'd be watching on a closing basis would be 93. Other than that, and this has gone on an absolute tear. On a continued move higher, 99.50 is the next major level. And 93 is the key support. You break below that, I would potentially see a pretty quick potential gap fill back to the Wednesday's closing price. All right. DLTH. DLTH. Weekly, yes, it does have a triggered weekly double bottom. You had the percent B trigger from last week also. You are correct with that. Oops. So your targets 583, 601, 619 if you're using the conservative targets, which because of the rotation zone, those would be ones I'd be using. Above that, if you do get follow through, the next key area is at 627 and then 667. As long as we are looking at cheap squeezy stocks, let's look at TUP. Bringing out the Tupperware. The Tupperware, I guess technically, you do have a double. To pull back to 87.5, so you do have a weekly double. Doubt it will trigger. But, interesting enough, that's some pretty key resistance at the prior 62.5. I'm going to flip these around and see where that sits. Yeah, squeezy right there. 293 and 353 next target's higher, but I'd really watch. It needs to get a close above about this 260 area. That's going to be very key. All right, there's not much going on. Just don't overdo it. I'm just looking back into the open. Going to keep this one shorter. It's a really nice horizontal channel. Going in the open on the shorter term stuff, 48.22 is key support. 48.29 is key resistance. So that's where we sit right now. Hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I shall talk. I got to do some stuff, and I have a meeting right at the open today, so I shall talk to everyone later. Have a wonderful trading day. Bye for now.